Hey, it's Aaron the Metal Theologian. Listen how cool this is. I need to pull this out and fucking hype this because this is fucking Bulgarian record. And honestly, I don't have a ton of Bulgarian records, but a lot of them are kind of mediocre. I mean, this is out of like the half dozen or so that I have, you know. But this is one of the cheapest, and it might be the best because this just fucking smokes. It's a split between these two bands called Era. Oh, there it is in English. There you go. And what's the other one? Concurrent. Or Concurrent. So, I don't know. So they have like the names. It's funny because there's a song called Divorce. You see that? Razvod, I guess. Listen to this stuff. You know what this fucking reminds me of? That sort of sneer in the voice. It fucking reminds me of Demon Pact, man. The mighty Demon Pact. You know what I'm talking about, right? Hang on a sec. It's fucking... Make this completely explicit. There's just so little metal that sounds like this, that has quite that sneer. It's like a Stranglers kind of vibe to it almost. It has that sneer and it has that sort of pace too. This is what we're talking about. I don't mind pulling this out because it's always a fun one to show, man. The Demon Pact 45. Absolutely essential new wave British heavy metal piece on Slime Records. And I swear this fucking nobody Bulgarian band is as close as I can, that maybe I've ever heard is this, well, let's be honest, nobody new wave British heavy metal band. So it just goes to show that heavy metal like crosses borders, right? Yeah, I've had this record for probably a few months. I mean, I kind of went on a Bulgarian kick, like, I don't know, it's kind of been a while, you know? And this is one of the last ones I got. I got this really cheap. I mean, it's even a little kind of fucked up, you know? It was sort of a throw-in when I was getting something else. And I swear, this might be better than a lot of the records that I paid a lot more for. How can you argue with that shit, man? It's just so fucking good. And it's so out of nowhere, too, you know? Here, also, check out this intro here. Because it really tells you it's a winner right away. Like, I don't know why I just didn't register initially. That's right. I like my records to start with people yelling at me in Bulgarian. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know if this is side 1 or side 2. Yeah, okay, so this is, yeah, so this is actually Divorce, this first song. So the one we were listening to was A Fable, or Bosnia. Or maybe Bosnia, I don't know. So there are a couple here that I kind of like been wanting to talk about, but I don't really know what to make of them. That's not why I didn't make a video last week. That was a fucking 6-hour fucking marathon session with Zoller. If you haven't watched that, that was a really fun stream. So just a little extra hype to the Heavy Metallurgy channel, which I hope you're all subscribed to by now, but it might still be called Marty Worm. But it's basically Marty and Alan from Let's Talk Metal. And last Friday I was on there talking about Blue Oyster Cult, Mr. Craig Zoller. It was fucking so fun, dude. And I'll tell you, as much as I listened to those records when I was on that big kick earlier, a few months ago, I still like finished that conversation with new things to talk about. You know, one of the things to really talk about too, you know, so I'm actually going to hype this before I go on. And this is an important one to hype because this fucking band is called Vitriol. All right? If you've watched this channel at all, you know that there's no way that I'm able to pass on a fucking band with a name like Vitriol. But check this out. I might get an ad put on because I'm going to play a little piece of this. This fucking song on here, like, I've always liked this, but it's like such an oddball song. Like, it doesn't really belong on this album. Well, it kind of belongs on this album, but it doesn't really belong on the Blue Oyster Cult catalog. And it's the siege and investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's castle at Weisaria. And like, it's the big, fuck, hang on, I fucked this up real quick. It's like this big epic one. And like, I've always liked it, right? And like, I've gotten it stuck in my head at times and shit too. There's this one, I'm going to skip over like the first part because the particular section I want to get to. This is so epic and so grandiose, and it doesn't really sound that Blue Oyster Culty. But dude, if I had spent $100 on some private press obscurity and it sounded like this, I'd be here freaking out and hyping the shit out of it, you know? Imagine if this is a 45 by some band no one ever heard of. It sounds like God, it's so big, you know? And like the, that fucking singer, man. He was like some nobody. I guess he sang like in a few ads or something like that. But like at the end when he starts really going Frankenstein. So this little segment of the video is kind of dedicated to Zoller because he kept doing this for us on the thing. Just fucking holds it, man. Oh, I skipped past. Alright, well, I went a little too far, but you'll get the idea. We need a dose of Frankenstein in the video. First of all, because it's such a great song on such an underrated record. In the catalog of a band that maybe isn't underrated, but definitely I don't think is overrated. It maybe is overrated for some of the wrong reasons and underrated on a few other counts. I think this is a great record. If you're a Blue Oyster Cult fan and you don't like this because it doesn't sound like a Blue Oyster Cult record, I kind of understand, but it's still a fucking fantastic record in its own right. Sort of like Come Taste the Band by Deep Purple. I've always maintained that that's, if you forget it's a Deep Purple record, just think of it as like a 70s, like a hard rock record. It's great, and I stand by that. That's sort of like that too. Except this is a much better record than Come Taste the Band, Imaginos. Even though I've never quite understood why, if Blue Oyster Cult was going to go disco, they'd wait till 1988 to do it with that last song on here, Imaginos. Anyway, this is fucking Vitriol. Okay, this is kind of another new one to me. I sort of read a review of this one that piqued my interest. So, of course, I'd have to check it out because, like, listening to it online would be cheating, right? Now, first of all, let's talk about what these guys do right. Actually, first of all, we can talk about what they do wrong because they actually don't really do anything wrong. This cover could have been a little bit stronger. I mean, let's be honest. You know, when you're competing on the shelf with this, or shit, man, this, you know, then maybe you should try a little bit harder than just fucking red light bulb and your pals, you know? But they were called Vitriol, okay? And they're French. And check out some of these fucking song titles, man. We're about to listen to Devil, God, or Angel. And then after that is Rappers, Greasers. And then I'm Singing on the Top of One Voice. Followed by Animals, Revolution. Look at that. It's fucking fantastic, dude. Witness for Devil, Killer's Memories, and Why Can't I Break My Chains? Yeah, and fucking, dude, check this out. Hey, you little tadpole, there's so many people here. We're making the next gush ready. You might be at the front line. When you feel the pressure rise, come into action with us. Rush into the crowd and let flow the hot metal. I might have read that last time, dude, but if so, I don't even fucking care because this record's so awesome. I would have bumped this ahead to where it rocks. Because it's still a weird record. I'm still not, like, sure where to sort this, you know? Kind of a screechy singer, a little bit yelpy, you know? Yeah, I just teased this one. Showed this one briefly. I showed Raw Energy recently, but it is a Belgian one. I think it's Belgian. Yeah, they're in Belgium. So this is Trial. Scream for Mercy. They got some fantastic cover art right there. And this is really just a good metal record. I mean, I would like to come up with something really specific about this, really distinctive, other than the fact that they look great. But most of the songs are just good, man. This is just a record you want to listen to because it's a fun record to listen to, you know? There's nothing like weird novelty shit like with this sort of thing, you know? So I don't know. I suppose you might be able to accuse this thing of needing a cherry on top to make it really great, but it's a pretty fun record anyway, man. I'm not mad about it. And you know, I swear to say the truth and nothing but the truth, so scream for mercy. There you go. That makes so much sense, dude. If it made any more sense, there'd just be a fucking hole in my head right there. Pulled this one out, man. This is sort of a new wave of British heavy metal classic. In fact, this is an easy one to forget how good it is, because this record is really, you know, one of the songs on this thing was on that Lars comp, the new wave of British heavy metal, 79 Revisited, whatever it was called. And that's probably the better song of the two, but the other song was just as good. As far as I know, this is all they did. It was just one. Well, they did a 7-inch and a 12-inch version of it. It was 45 to all intents and purposes. That's just really good. I mean, I've had this for a long time, but last time I checked, it wasn't too expensive. So maybe one to grab before people figure it out, like they seem to have with those Venom 45s, which weren't that expensive for a long time. Here's another one's been clicking for me this week, actually, is I always found this record kind of hard to relate to, the Sacred Blade of the Sun and Moon, which aside from the fact that it has a gatefold, which is kind of unusual in the 80s among metal records, you know? Especially on Black Dragon. As far as I know, there's the only Black Dragon release that had a gatefold, but there it is. It's not like brilliant, it's like the lyrics and them out in the woods. I think I get this band though. Like, they're a little bit weird. Like, they're sort of like, what's that band called? Salem's Law, The Tale of Goblins Breed. You know what fucking record I'm talking about? It reminds me of that one. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. It's been a while since I walked off camera and videos. Do it twice again. That Sacred Blade record is kind of weird in the same way that this record's kind of weird. But not so obviously so. Like, this one just kind of sounds weird and it kind of slaps you in the face with its weirdness. And if you're in the mood for it, it's great, and if you're not, it's horrible. And it's kind of one of those things. This one's kind of more subtle. This one never sounds horrible. But it never sounded as weird in a sort of distinctive way, the way Salem's Law did. So it didn't really impress itself in my head, except for as being a record that's a little bit weird and kind of vibes out a little like Salem's Law. So I think I get it a little bit better. Like the this is so like fucking Vitriol, man. Anyway, yeah, I think I get what this band is about, and it's what these guys are becoming for me, sort of in my mental classification system, is just another good Black Dragon band, like probably comparable to, like, probably better than Steel Vengeance, definitely not as good as what Manila Road was doing, and probably not quite as good as what Liege Lord was doing. No, it's not quite there yet. I still like Liege Lord a lot more than I like Sacred Blade, but I think I'm getting there. I think that's where they're going to end up. Because I'm starting to get it. Like, the way the songs are put together in that is sort of starting to make sense to me, and what the guy is doing with his singing, which is kind of a big impediment for this one. The guy seems to either sing in this sort of weird, like, low register, or be sort of screechy. And like I said, I don't think I got it, but I think I'm getting there, so. Yeah. Fucking Vitriol. There's one other one. Oh, here's another one, actually, that I think I get now. Oh, fuck. I gotta go over the last one. I never thought much of this record, and I've kind of come around on it over the course of the last week, and I just dig the fact that it sounds like a really inept doom record, which is kind of what it is. I think the way this is hyped, I always kind of expected it to be a little bit tighter, a little gloomier. And the funny thing is, I think the gloom was all there all along, like somehow the sloppiness of it just sort of like made me miss it, which is a weird thing, because normally sloppy playing is not a problem for me at all, you know? But I think, again, I think I get it, man. Like, this fucking record, I've been playing this about every day. Blind Men and Occult Forces. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, if there was ever, like, a single, like, credit, or, like, a single notation on a record cover that alone could sell it to me, right there. A song called Blind Men and Occult Forces by a man named Measles. Sold. I don't need to know anything else. Yeah, fucking puny-ass coffin never stops being funny. It's a great band photo. Yeah, man, you know something? I probably like this more than anything Death SS did after the singles era. Like the Story of Death SS LP, like that sort of Death SS era. They're kind of comparable in a way. They're just not sloppy in the same way, which is a hard thing to sort of articulate. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I can try. Listen to Black Hole and listen to Death SS. They're both a little bit sloppy. Black Hole's a lot sloppier, but somehow the sloppiness vibes out differently. I can't explain any better than that today. So, speaking of bands with names, yeah, I sort of lucked into a copy of this. I don't buy records for the show. I've heard some people fall into that where they'll make up videos and like after all they get into the habit where they start buying records for the show. I won't buy something unless I actually want to hear it, okay, and like listen to it and probably spend a little bit of time with it. I wouldn't even buy something just because it's funny. I used to do that, you know, like if there are midgets on the cover or something, it's like, oh yeah, but I got sick of having records all that didn't play, so I wouldn't have done this. But this is about as close as it ever come because I'm pretty much going to be intrigued by a band called Genocide, but especially if that band looks like these guys. Dude, look at that dude. He's in Genocide. Just check that out. Like, how could you not want to hear this guy and his band Genocide? It's fucking perfect, man. Like, the titles on this might have put me off otherwise. Like, I Wouldn't Touch Her With Yours. I mean, that just smacks of some, like, really adolescent, like, jokey shit of the sort that really just kind of makes me cringe more than laugh. But this fucking record, I actually really like a lot. We're going to listen to a little bit of it together because, because you're probably not going to hear it anywhere else. I mean, let's be honest. Unless you go looking for it or something. Why would you do that? Go looking for fucking records? You know, I think the least obscure record I've shown tonight is Weapon. Oh, well. Yeah, this thing is kind of a warp in it, so... It's another one of those, but it tracks just fine on the trusty B&O. It's really just like a hard rock record. I mean, I'll just cut to the chase right now. This record is a lot more like a band called Too Long, or where the album is called Too Long, than Genocide. But that's still pretty nice. You know what I kind of respect about these guys? That's a very Deep Purple organ sound on this. And it's really easy with these bands from this era. This is like 82, I think. When they had like a keyboard like that, to say it sound like Deep Purple, right? Like people said that about like White Spirit. There are a couple others too. 6 Feet Under, the Swedish band 6 Feet Under. These guys really don't sound like Deep Purple though. Not even a little bit. Even though they have a full-time keyboard player with a really Deep Purple organ. Listen to these breaks here. For the rhythm. They sound like Rush fans, to be sure. But this is really good. You know, it's not incredible. But this rocks. You know, this rocks a lot. I was expecting a lot less from these guys. I was expecting more Wimp. I mean, this guy's the tough one. This is the only one I'd be at all worried about taking a fight, and I'm 50, and they're like fucking 18 here and fucking in shape. This is really good though, isn't it? Let's bump this ahead a little bit, because I don't want to just sit here and just play other people's records shamelessly for the whole fucking video. I gotta be able to claim it's transformative, right? That rocks. It's a cool riff. It's colored nicely with the keys. That's a good... The transition between the chorus and the verse is good. Or the verse and the chorus. lot of records of this caliber feel like they're trying a little bit too hard, and a lot of times that'll make a record great, you know, like that with that extra thing that they, whatever that extra thing ends up being that they try putting into it, makes a record special, you know. I mean, almost everything I've shown in somewhere does that one way or another. This thing kind of doesn't. This kind of just serves up meat and potatoes, but it serves up really tasty meat that's like braised to perfection, because you know it's not an expensive cut. It's like a pot roast, you know. But it's been braised to absolutely that right level of sort of tenderness, but still having a little tooth. And those fucking potatoes have just the right amount of garlic, just the right amount of peel still in there, so you get that texture going on with it. And the gravy's fucking, that fucking organ, right? So yeah, man, I'm all about genocide. That'd be a great clip for when I go into politics. Someday you can clip me saying, I'm all about genocide, just run that in ads. But I'll just show these guys and we'll all just hug it out. And that'll be that. Because these guys are all about hugging it out. They're lovers, they're not fighters. Just like me. And just like you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.